Hey guys, so you can see it's raining out here. Lovely. And so that means we can't play outside today. But I decided let's come to the lab and let's work on some electronic stuff. We'll see you guys in a minute. Hang on. All right, guys, we're back at the lab. Got a couple of projects to work on today. I think the first project, number one, we will work on me continuing to mod this old, what is this, the communicator TR1, putting in a ESP32. We're going to make this into a radio, internet radio. So we have that project, and we have another project. It's an old power supply I got off of eBay. It's pretty crappy. I like the box, just the adjustment. All you get is that, the only adjustment you get is that little screw there for the voltage. Well, that's a fine adjust. This doesn't work very well either. So what I did is I got one of these, let me put this down. I got one of these power supplies off of Amazon, or AliExpress, and I'll show you here. There goes the phone. This, look at how small this is. It's a little power supply. I think this can do like 40 volts at 9 amps, but we're not going to be able to do that. But yeah, I have a ton of electronic projects. I think we're going to focus on the internet radio, and then we're going to look at doing this. But this will probably be its own separate video. So I should stop rambling. Let's get to the internet radio. Hang on. All right, let's catch you back up on this. So where we left off was we're trying to get an ESP32. We got a case here, right? This is not the case I'm going to be using. This is the case. And we're going to bring in the wires from the side here, you know, and okay, so this is going to sit down in here, and then we're going to do this, and then we got to leave room. Well, about these, and we're going to make room for our antenna here. This guy comes in. Where are you? This guy comes in down here, and it sneaks down in here. I really wanted to keep the antenna for the look of it. So, I think, I don't know how much I showed before, but so I got the LCD mounted, and we do have the little cover for that. It just popped off. Okay, so we got our cover. We got our button. I think, how did I want to do this? I think this is going to be the mute button, and then the button that goes over here is the channel changer button. Some of the things that I did do was mount the speaker and the I2S board underneath here, and there's some powers and some grounds and some switches and all sorts of stuff that we've got to pull out of here. What's this for? Oh, this is for the I2S amp. And then this is for the LCD. I think that I already, yeah, what did I do here? Center's ground. This is 5 volts in. This is 5 volts out. And I believe this is 3.3 volts. So it's going to just take me a minute to kind of figure out where I was at, and then let me figure out where I was at, and then I'll bring you right back. All right, here's what we got going on here. So there's a few things we need to hook up down here before we can put this together. So you're like, Jesus, there's so many wires. Okay, this grayish wire is my mute switch, right? We'll just go through these, a couple here. This yellow one is the analog from my potentiometer. This goes to the board, so this is for volume. This is the serial clock and data for the display. This guy, I believe, is the switch here that we're going to use to change the channels, the momentary. We can test that. This is the, what is this? Oh, this is 3.3 volt power. that's going to go up to our ESP32. We're gonna take power from 3.3 and we're gonna send it down. I got another junction block, so we got 5 volts in, ground, 5 volts switched, and 3.3, right? So, and then we got a connector in between here because we're using the switch off of this guy too, right? We've got our board down in there. Oh, and what you just saw shut off is my new multimeter from what is this, Finercy? I bought this myself. It's kind of cool. It's got automatic modes. It also has a scope mode and all sorts of stuff. It's actually got some scope probe inputs, right? So what I wanted to do, I'll leave links for everything down in the description. I wanted to verify that this was in fact my switch over here. It's gonna be kind of tricky because I got to do this, you know, four-handed. Okay, there we go. That is our momentary switch to change the channels. That's just tied off of this mechanical switch. I found a couple of pins here. Since it is just a momentary, I found a couple of pins, and we tapped off of the power switch, this guy, when you turn it. You hear that? And then I also tapped off the pot pins over here. So we also have a power and ground for the potentiometer. So the first thing I got to do is I want to hook up some of these other connections. Like this is the power and ground for the I2S amp. So we're going to go to ground, and then we're going to go to 5 volts switched. So when you know, it's not always on. When you turn this on, it sends power to here and the micro. So what I did is I also tied off of the I2S board and gave myself a ground in case I needed to like solder some other wires to ground. Where I found this, I ohmed this out and made sure it wasn't, you know, going anywhere, and we can just, you know, stick wires on there if necessary. But what I wanted to do is we're going to strip this like that, and like that, and then we're going to tin everything. All right, turn on our iron here. Oh, this tip is too big. Too big. We need the smaller one. There we go. If you got a Heiko, just, you know, make sure when you push this in, you do it quick, because they do heat up fast. If you watch the display, see it's already heating up. Yeah, that's why they give you the rubber pad, so you can, you know, pull them on and off while it's hot swappable. Okay, pad needs to stay down there. All right, and I do have basic pinouts here, you know, where my I2S bit clock, LRC, the I2S out, the amplifier output, my mute switch input, my station switch input, the potentiometer volume input, and my serial data and serial clock for the LCD, because the power I've already got running over to 3.3. This is what you got to make sure is some of this stuff can only be powered off of 3.3. Like for sure, the you want your potentiometer. I think the ADCs on these ESP32s are 3.3 only in, so make sure that. The I2S amp can run off of 5 volts. In fact, it'll make it louder. But you know, you need to wire that separately than everything else. What else? What else is in here? Doesn't matter. We got a few things. Oh, yeah, like I said, the LCD's powered off of there, and whatnot. So let's get some of this hooked up. If we hook up this guy, let's tin these leads, and then we can tack these on to the 5 volt switched and the ground here, and then we can hook the battery up and test to make sure that the switch is turning the I2S amp on and off. You know, just do this stuff in stages. You know what I mean? Make sure that you got what you got right. Now some of this I won't be able to test the radio here because we're not on my home network. Obviously we're at the lab, so we're gonna do our best to hook things up, and then I'll have to finish it off at home. But okay, we got our our ground. We got our 3.3. Okay. And I'm leaving everything along that way, you know, if you're going to work on something like this, that way you can like take it apart. We can hide all the wires kind of down in here, but you know, you got to be able to open this thing up and do stuff to it, right? So that's what we're doing. Okay. So 5-volt switch is this guy here. Give ourselves a little room with the wires. It's got some tweezers, and we're just gonna make sure you don't get any other wires caught in there. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna go for the ground. And it's hard to see without magnifying glasses on. It's not stuck as good as I want it. I'm just using the tweezers, see? I'm just using the tweezers to hold things in place. Okay? Alright, now with that hooked up, we should be able to plug in the battery. Now don't forget, you know, this looks old and janky, but there's a LiPo under there that goes to a LiPo charge circuit. That's, oh, it's right here. I had it over here, but I moved it on top of the battery. So, when we plug these two together, if we can do this without, you know, causing a fire or anything, we'll go ahead and plug this together. Okay, now we can verify that our switch works and that our I2S power is hooked up by turning the switch on, and it's not. Why is it not? 0.94 volts. No. This thing couldn't have been drawing juice this whole time. Hang on. Let me. Guess I shouldn't have assumed that the battery wouldn't have drained, but maybe it did. Let's plug this in. Okay, so we got a light. Okay, so it's almost charged. There we go. Okay, so the battery might be slightly dead, but we got our port plugged in here. We had it plugged in. Okay, leave that cover off. Okay. All right. So remember, I hooked up the 5-volt switch power. So now we turn this on. We get power to the amp. So that's good. Now, you know, what we need to do is hook up the power and grounds for the pot. I'm going to go ahead and unplug this since we don't actually need that. And we will let this, we'll charge that. So we know that that works. We'll charge that later. All right. So let's get our power and grounds. I think what I'm going to do, which is what I was starting to do, which is I'm going to take a ground and go from here, and we're going to jump it up to here. That way we've got a common ground. I keep reaching for my glasses, but I'm not wearing them. All right. And then we're going to bring this kind of up here. We're going to give ourselves some slack. We're going to cut this here. Okay. Alright. We're just going to bring it over here somewheres. And then we're going to add a little bit of solder right there. And then we're going to attach it there. Alright. So now whatever we do, like this ground, now I can bring it over here, and it never has to leave there. Underneath side. Yikes! Yikes! Get this brush out of here. Yeah, if you're looking for a good meter, this is definitely some. I love the auto function. Like I said, it's got scope, it does capacitance, beep, diode, frequency, even does temperature, it does amps, AC volts, DC volts, it does it all. And it was only like, I'm gonna have to look, I'll put it up on the screen now. It was not that expensive. If I had a guess, I'd say it was maybe 40 bucks. I really like Fenrisi's products. They've been coming out with a lot of cool products. So, all right, let's do this again. This is kind of the way like it used to be done. You know, I've built old amps and like old tube amps and stuff, and you basically have, that's kind of like where you would see these is their junction points, right? And you just jump off of them, and then, you know, it's all kind of point to point soldering, which is basically what we're doing, you know. There you go. See, now the ground is just sitting there. Now the only one we got to worry about is the plus. And that goes to 3.3, so that goes over here. Let's add some solder over here, and let's get that wire attached. What we should do is, we can't verify that yet because I actually need to hook up. We're getting the 3.3 volts from the micro, so we have to hook up 3.3 to bring it back here. All right, so we're gonna do it live. Yeah, I like that, and it's also got auto shut off. This is what the coolest part about this meter is. It's USB-C rechargeable, so no more stupid 9-volt batteries or AA's or AAA's or whatever. You're just you just plug it in with any USB-C. I don't know if it's USB PD or not. I'll have to try that, but okay. So it goes like this. Yeah. Alright, that's why I like using the tweezers. You don't burn yourself. Alright, hang on. I got a few things to do and I'll come right back. Alright, I skipped ahead just a tiny bit, nothing that I didn't already show you pretty much. I brought a ground from down below. I ran it to my my ground on the ESP32, and then this is the 3.3 wire that goes down to the little hub you guys seen below. I put like 2 screws in this thing. I don't think it's going anywhere. I put my antenna in. So what do we have left? This is the switch that goes over here for changing the channels. This is the switch for muting it. And these are the 2 wires that go to serial clock and serial data. Over here I can show you. And then this is just for the I2S amp. We've got, what do we got here? Like I said, bit clock, LRC, and I2S out. And we've got the rest of our stuff here. So what I want to do is check my voltages. We should be getting 5 volts from this board to the switch up here, and then it goes back to the 5-volt switch tab that we put down below, and then from there it goes up to here. That's the brown wire. So what we can do is turn this guy on, and I know we got 5 volts there because the light's on. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch ground to here, and we're going to go to here, and we're getting 5.09 volts, and then we're going to come over to the 3.3 volt side, and we're going to touch that, and we got 3.3. So I know that we should be powering our what are we powering? The LCD, and I wonder here if we check over here. Come on, let's check over here. So it's, what is it, ground then voltage? It's very hard to see without my glasses on. Yeah, 3.3. Okay, cool. So we got 3.3 volts going to our display, right? And then I did check this. I had to move the ground where I put the switch, so that we can get a ground input out of here. That is the gray wire. Verify to itself. Okay, and if we come over here to ground, again, another four-handed operation. Put this in here. See? Okay. So this is a ground input for our mute switch. All right. So let's see here. Unplug this. Okay, so what do we got left? Let's do the pot pin on 34. Hang on a second. Man, my eyes are really bad. I'm bumping you here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's the fourth pin, and I bumped you. Okay, so let's do our pot pin. We'll bring this over here, and just like all these wires, I'm just kind of routing them down and around, down here. Come on. And this one's coming over here. Come on. I want it to go over here like this. Give ourselves plenty of room. 1, 2, 3, 4. Somewhere in here's-ish. Okay. Oh God, don't cut your meter leads. Okay. And this is like doing work a mile away. Okay. So we got our tweezers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see where I soldered. Do that like that. This will disappear into there. Okay. Now I can double check with my glasses. Hang on a second. Let's see if you can see what I'm seeing. Yep, around 34. All right. What else do we have left? So we can cross this guy off the list. Where's I have a pencil over here somewhere. Thought I did. Doesn't matter. We know that the 34 is the pot. Station switch 18. So that is the one that I put a curlicue in. This is the station switch. Okay. And what did I say? 18. Let me I need to be able to wear my goggles at the same time here. Let me make the final connections and then I'll show you. All right, guys. So you can see that I got everything should be soldered in there. I got all my I2S connections, mute switch, station switch, the potentiometer. You can see that our micro comes on. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is we have voltage here, but this isn't turning on. Now I wonder if this guy is actually programmed with code, and I don't know. I'm hoping there wasn't a different one. See, I don't see it. I thought that was the one. I thought this one was actually working, but it may not. Hopefully I can just, we'll just lift this up and I'll program it, and then we should be good to go. So, I mean, really the next step of this is to bring this home and test it. See if we can get our antenna. I think this is the right screw. No, wait. Is the screw already in there? Let's see here. Yeah, I left it in there. Yeah, I hooked up my I2S and everything, and I don't hear anything, which I'm assuming that this is just a not programmed board. Which like I said, I don't know why I would have done that, but I didn't. Maybe I stole it to sit on another board or something. I don't really know what I was thinking here. There we go. So theoretically, we should just be able to, you know, let's check this. This comes on. My I2S amp is on, and that's for the power supply. If we plug in our thing, we can see it glowing, but we're all on, right? And so there's two. Oh, there were two screws there. Well, shit. Maybe we'll just, you know, maybe we'll just put some Velcro here. You know what I mean? And then, there was another part of this. It's still in the box. Part of this fell off here. Here it is. Yeah, this fell off of here, so this should really be, we're just gonna have to hot glue this in place, right? But then it just, you know, snaps together, and you can still see that it's on, right? Okay, off. The last thing we need to do is put the button on. What did I do with that? It's a little black button. It screws on. All right. So there's that. And where'd it go? What did I do with it? Is it in the... I keep going to this box. Is it in this box? I'm hoping I just threw it in here. It would really suck if we lost that button, because it's kind of like special to this guy. There we go. It was stuck to the speaker. Okay. See, it's got a screw in it, and it just screws in here. Looks like we need to, I need to adjust something. It's kind of not sitting where it's supposed to. There we go. I'll bend this a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we can pull out our antenna. This is to change stations, right? So we can sit here and, you know, look at it this way, change stations. We can mute it, and the volume is up here. Volume and on. That should be all the way up. Mute. Let me turn this off. And that's it. I would say the project's done. I'll follow up with you guys and make sure that this does get programmed and that the display works. We might have to do some troubleshooting, but that's it. How cool is that? Pretty awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Easy. All right, guys. So I got it home. I thought I had to reprogram it. I think there's just something wrong with the display. But if we, okay, so there's a few things I noticed. Like, first of all, if we turn this on, okay, we can see that. If you look in there, that's the micro. You see? Oops. So you can see that it's working. Okay. And then this is the channel change button. Can you see that? Come on. Okay. Let's get it. And this is supposed to be the mute button, which it does mute, I think. Yeah, see? It does mute. I don't know, I gotta debounce it or something. I gotta check my code. There we go. And then, so my potentiometer is reversed, so I just gotta switch the power and ground. And then, see, because if we turn it like we're supposed to be turning it up, the volume is getting quieter. So maximum is right before it shuts off. And the suckiest part, my display, I did measure 3.3 volts there, so but yeah, you can totally see, you know, it is working here. If I mean, the antenna doesn't do anything, but how cool is that, right? You can see here's the code I'm looking at. But let's mute this. But that's it. You can see I have another plan. I bought this other radio. Check this guy out. Much bigger. It's an old vintage. What is this? Oh, it's Motorola. And I got a louder ESP32 Plus with some big speakers. Look at these speakers. These are like 20 watt speakers. That's why I bought the louder ESP32. I think we can fit this in here. And then we got basically 20 watts coming out of this thing. So that's it. You can see this works. I'll probably give you an update if I can figure out what went wrong here. It could be that I smoked the display or something. I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Easy. All right, guys. I'm back, and this is it. I did get it working. Let me go ahead and turn it on. You can see here's the display. Okay, so we'll turn up the volume. All right, if we hit mute. So now I added scrolling song text. We can hit the mute, and it says muted. And then if we push the channel button, pretty cool, right? And what I did was I changed my serial clock and serial data lines from 20 and 21 to 16 and 17, and then I replaced the display. This was the old display. I'm gonna put a header back in this and see if it still works. But that's it. Now you can see everything is working. Thanks for coming along on the journey, and we'll see you in the next one, all right? Easy.
I am Iron Man.